Hello, radiant soul of Scorpio. Let me speak to you with the tenderness and gravity your spirit deserves. Because what is approaching for you is not merely another date on the calendar, but a celestial threshold, a turning point written in the very architecture of the skies. A moment when the universe holds up a mirror and demands that you look unflinchingly at all the ways you have betrayed your own intensity, all the times you softened your edges so that others would feel comfortable, all the seasons when you silenced your piercing truth in order to keep fragile bonds intact, and all the choices that dimmed the blazing power of your essence until you could almost forget that it was there at all. Scorpio, this is not a punishment. It is what I would call the divine audit of your life. A reckoning that stretches back through years of compromise and quiet suffering. Not to shame you, but to awaken you. To remind you that each instance of shrinking yourself carried a cost, that each moment of compliance chipped away at the sovereign fire that was always meant to burn within you. And now the universe comes forward with the undeniable truth that you cannot postpone forever. You cannot deny the roar of your own being. You cannot live indefinitely in costumes that do not belong to your soul. And so, on this appointed day, what you will face is not a celestial reprimand, but an ultimatum. A sacred choice written in starlight: continue to dilute who you are until your reflection no longer resembles you. Or step with courage into the full embodiment of your power. The unapologetic strength of Scorpio that has no rival. That was never meant to live in the shadows, but to cut through illusions like a blade and to reveal what lies beneath. I know this sounds daunting, but you must understand that this turning point is not chaos for the sake of chaos. It is the universe preparing the soil of your destiny, tearing out the roots of every falsehood you once believed, showing you with clarity that the roles you played to appease others have run their course, and that if you are to live a life that is truly your own, a life worthy of the depth of your spirit, then you must stop wearing the mask of the acceptable and begin living as the force of transformation you were always meant to be. And I promise you this, Scorpio, what awaits beyond this moment of confrontation is liberation. For when you finally release the habit of making yourself small, when you stop apologizing for being too intense, too passionate, too truthful, you will realize that your very intensity is not a flaw, but your sacred gift. And from that realization will flow the kind of power that rebuilds your life from the ground up. The kind of clarity that redefines every relationship and every purpose. The kind of strength that can only come from meeting yourself fully, without disguise, without hesitation, without fear. Scorpio, let me remind you with the same depth and gravity as before, this moment is not a punishment. It is not the universe striking down upon you for mistakes made. Rather, it is a final and sacred ultimatum, a line drawn in the sands of destiny, a command whispered through every star above you that you must either step fully into the radiant truth of who you are or resign yourself to losing forever the chance to live as the extraordinary being you were created to be. For too long, you have mistaken endurance for acceptance and silence for peace. But the truth is that your silence has been a slow erosion of your essence. Your endurance has been the prison walls that kept you contained. And now the universe refuses to let you waste another season playing roles that betray your inner fire. This is the moment when you are asked to choose, not with hesitation, but with fierce clarity, whether you will continue dimming your soul so that others may remain unchallenged, or whether you will dare to ignite your life with the uncompromising brilliance that was always your birthright. And Scorpio, the urgency of this ultimatum is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you, to stir that ancient resilience coiled deep within your chest, to awaken the serpent of transformation that belongs to your sign. Because you, of all the zodiac, were never meant to live half alive, never meant to wander in shadows of other people's expectations. but to blaze a path through them, to be proof that a soul who refuses to betray its essence becomes unstoppable. Scorpio, as the universe delivers this ultimatum, it does not come to you in vague symbols, but in precise currents of energy that move differently for each soul born under your constellation, and you will feel it according to the secret rhythms of your birth. For those born between October 23rd and November 2nd, the revelation will strike like lightning in the realm of power and authority, for you will be confronted with how often you surrendered your natural dominion, how you allowed others to take command while you played small. And this period will demand that you reclaim the throne of your own life, no longer apologizing for the depth of your insight or the sharpness of your intuition, but wielding them as the leadership gifts they were always meant to be. For Scorpios born between November 3rd and November 13th, the transformation will ignite in the realm of creativity and passion. And the message will be uncompromising. You can no longer hold your power in a cage, no longer control your emotions until they feel safe and tidy. For your gift has always been intensity. And this window of destiny will require you to unleash the full force of your creative fire. Whether in your art, your work, or the ways you dare to love. Because the world has waited too long for you to stop rationing the waters of your soul. And for those born between November 14th and November 22nd, the ultimatum will arrive as the collapse of illusions around admiration and surface recognition. For you will finally see that being praised for mystery or magnetism alone is not enough, that your true calling is to use your profound presence to impact the world in ways that endure, to move beyond the thrill of fascination and into the gravity of transformation, where your influence does not merely attract but reshapes, heals, and awakens. In this way, Scorpio, each of you will be touched differently. Yet all of you will stand before the same truth. The universe will no longer tolerate a half-lived version of your power. And this is the moment where you either rise into the authenticity of your depth or risk letting your greatest chance for transformation slip into the shadows forever. Scorpio. The next unfolding chapter begins with the unveiling of truths you have long sensed but buried beneath layers of survival and loyalty. Truths that now rise with such force that they can no longer be ignored. For the universe has decided that your eyes must finally see without filters, and your heart must finally acknowledge what it already knows. You will come to recognize that some of the people closest to you were never nurturers of your spirit, but beneficiaries of your silence. Individuals who thrived on your willingness to stay small, to keep your power hidden so that they could stand taller in your shadow. And this realization will cut sharply. But it is precisely the cut needed to free you from chains that were forged in deception. What will be revealed? Scorpio is not just betrayal by others, but also the subtle betrayals you have committed against yourself. The countless times you felt a stirring within to speak your truth yet swallowed it down for the sake of peace. The moments you sensed that a path or relationship was wrong for you, yet continued walking because it was safer than confrontation. And the years in which you denied your hunger for transformation because you feared the cost of change. These are not sins to condemn you, but truths to awaken you. Because in seeing them clearly, you will finally reclaim the power that was scattered across 1,000 concessions. And understand this, when Scorpio sees there is no going back, the revelation of hidden truths will not only alter how you view the world around you, but also how you view yourself. For you will discover that your intuition, the whisper you sometimes dismissed as paranoia, was always right. That the unease you carried in certain spaces was never irrational but a sacred warning. That your suspicion was not a flaw but a gift sharpened by lifetimes of depth. This awakening will move you from doubting yourself to trusting your instincts without hesitation. And in that shift, Scorpio, your life begins to change in ways that cannot be reversed. These revelations will not come as gentle whispers but as sudden confrontations, as if a veil is torn away in a single motion. And the intensity may feel overwhelming, yet this is the way your sign was designed to transform through depth, through truth, through facing what others would rather bury. And though these truths may sting, they are the medicine your soul has been waiting for. Because only by exposing what is false can you step into the fullness of what is real. Scorpio, once the veil of hidden truths has been torn away, the universe does not leave you standing alone in the ruins of your old illusions. Instead, it opens before you a door, a threshold into rebirth. And though the air that spills through may feel unfamiliar, it carries the unmistakable fragrance of freedom. This door is not merely symbolic. It is the living passage between the self that was forced to compromise and the self that now demands to live in the fullness of truth. And as you step toward it, you will feel both the weight of everything you are leaving behind and the astonishing lightness of everything that begins to fall away. Through this doorway, Scorpio, celestial support gathers around you, and it will come in forms you recognize and in forms you may not yet expect. Dreams will sharpen and speak with clarity. Coincidences will align so precisely that they will feel like whispers from the divine. And people will arrive in your path who mirror back to you the authentic self you are becoming, encouraging you to keep moving forward when the old life tries to pull you back. The stars themselves seem to bend toward your favor. And where once you felt resistance, you will begin to feel openings, opportunities, and currents that flow with less effort because they are aligned with your true essence rather than the mask you once wore. The door of rebirth is not about forgetting who you have been, Scorpio, but about reclaiming the parts of you that were silenced, weaving them back into wholeness, and letting the pain you endured become the soil for your renewal. This is why the universe sends you celestial support now, for it knows that transformation at this depth can feel lonely. It knows the shedding of skin can make you raw. And so it surrounds you with signs, with guidance, with whispers that say, you are not abandoned. You are accompanied. The planets, the unseen allies, even the ancestors who walked before you, all of them lean close, forming a chorus around you as you step through this sacred threshold. And in this passage, Scorpio, the something profound happens. The power you once thought was gone returns, but it does not return as the raw intensity you carried in your youth. It returns as a matured, tempered force, one that is both sharp and compassionate, fierce and healing. You become not only the survivor of your own trials, but the living embodiment of transformation itself. Someone whose very presence reminds others that rebirth is possible. The universe entrusted this role to you because Scorpio, above all, knows how to die to the false and rise into the truth. And now, as you cross this door of rebirth, you do so not only for yourself, but as a beacon for others who are still searching for their own light. Scorpio, here is the final closing message I must leave in your hands. Spoken with the gravity of truth and the tenderness of hope, the universe has not brought you to this threshold to frighten you, but to free you. And though the journey through revelation, ultimatum, and rebirth may have stripped away much that felt familiar, it has given you something far more precious in return, the chance to live without disguise, without compromise, without apology. You are no longer called to linger in the half-light of roles that kept you small, no longer asked to bend yourself into shapes that please others, no longer required to silence the roar of your own soul for the comfort of those who feared your fire. The radical changes unfolding are not punishment, but permission to be all that you are, to love with depth, to speak with unshakable honesty, to create from the intensity of your essence, and to lead without fear of the shadows you cast. And when the dust of this transformation settles, Scorpio, You will look upon your reflection and see not the fractured pieces of who you once were, but the full figure of your true self, unmasked and radiant, carrying scars that do not weaken you, but testify to the strength it took to rise again. The universe wants you to know that your life will not return to what it was before, because you were not meant to repeat old cycles. You were meant to transcend them. So carry this truth into the days ahead. You have reached the end of compromise and the beginning of destiny. And every choice you make now is an act of alignment with the magnificence that has always lived inside you. Do not doubt that the support of heaven stands beside you. Do not doubt that the path has been prepared. And do not doubt that your heart, then fierce and unyielding, already knows the way forward. You were never created to hide in the background of your own story. Scorpio, you were born to be the force that transforms darkness into light, endings into beginnings, and silence into truth. And now, as the universe places the key of rebirth in your hands, the only question left is whether you will step fully through the door and claim the life that has always been yours.